Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Saṅghaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Friends, let us all study, investigate, and practice the real words of the Buddha. Tonight, to understand the very words of the Buddha, we have another special discourse. Of course, tonight we want to understand two different discourses. The two different discourses are from connected discourses of the Buddha. Chapter 22, Sutta number 113, Ignorance, and same chapter, chapter 22, Sutta number 96, a lump of cow-dung. So tonight our topic is ignorance and a lump of cow-dung. As I said earlier, it is because of our ignorance. Ignorance means not knowing. Delusion. Not knowing. The Buddha said, not knowing what? Not knowing suffering, unsatisfactoriness, stress. Not knowing stress, what stress is. Not knowing the cause of stress, not knowing the cessation of stress, and not knowing the path leading to the cessation of stress. Dukkha, the Buddha used the term dukkha. As you all know, the Buddha attained full enlightenment under the Bodhi tree. After his enlightenment, he was sitting on the same seat for 7 days without taking any food or drinks, being sensitive to that bliss of enlightenment, liberation, mental liberation. After that, he contemplated upon the relationship, causal relation, which is called causality or dependent origination. He clearly understood things appear and disappear in accordance with their cause and effect. That is why it is called causality. He understood things are interrelated and interdependent. One exists because of the other. He clearly understood that it is because of ignorance volitional formations come to be. It is because of volitional formations consciousness comes to be. It is because of consciousness mentality and materiality comes to be. It is because of mentality and materiality 6 sense bases come to be. It is because of 6 sense bases contact comes to be, it is because of contact. Feeling comes to be, it is because of feeling. Craving comes to be, it is because of craving. Attachment comes to be, it is because of attachment. Existence comes to be, it is because of existence. Birth comes to be, it is because of birth. Aging, death, sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief, and whole mass of suffering comes to be. This is how he understood. That is what is called the origination of things. Origination of stress, dukkha. And he understood the cessation as well. Cessation is due to understanding, realization of ignorance as ignorance. Ignorance, if you can understand ignorance, you can understand that right, you can have right understanding. It is the cessation. It is because of cessation of ignorance, all volitional formations come to cease. It is because of the cessation of all formations, consciousness comes to cease like that. The whole mass of suffering comes to cease. So, let's understand this particular discourse. The name of the discourse is Ignorance. Let's see. This discourse was delivered by the Buddha while the Buddha was dwelling at the place called Savatthi, the monastery where he lived for about 20 years. Then on that particular day, a certain bhikkhu, a certain monk, approached the Buddha, the Blessed One, paid homage to him and sat down to one side and said to him, "Venerable Sir, it is said ignorance, ignorance. What now, Venerable Sir, is ignorance? And in what way is one immersed in ignorance?" That was his question. Then the Buddha said, "Here, bhikkhu, the uninstructed worldling is the one who does not know this Dhamma. He never hear the Dhamma, listen to this Dhamma. He or she. As such, he or she does not understand form." This is the cause. Does not understand form. Form means not this body. Not this body. Form means form of form. What you see through your eyes, what you hear through your ear, what you smell through your nose, what you taste through your tongue, what you tangible through your skin, body, and what you think of the thought. Those are form of the five aggregates. So, Buddha said, as uninstructed worldling does not understand form, its origin, its cessation, and the way leading to the cessation. He does not know this. It's because of that he does not understand. He does not understand feeling as well. Feeling, its origin, its cessation, and the way leading to the cessation. Feeling. He does not know what feeling is. He does not understand perception, its origin, its cessation, and the way leading to this to its cessation. He does not understand volitional formations, their origin, their cessation, and the way leading to their cessation. He does not understand consciousness, its origin, its cessation, and the way leading to the cessation. This is called ignorance, the Buddha said. And in this way, one is immersed in ignorance, immersed. One is sort of sinking. He is oppressed with ignorance. So, it is because of not understanding form, feeling, perception, volitional formation, and consciousness. So why here the Buddha says that it is because of not understanding these five: form, feeling, perception, volitional formation, and consciousness. Earlier we talked about ignorance referring to four noble truths. Friends, of the four noble truths, the first thing, what is called stress, what is called dukkha. Dukkha means not knowing these five aggregates as they are. Five aggregates affected by clinging is dukkha, the Buddha said. Now it's clear, I guess. Five aggregates affected by clinging is dukkha. So dukkha is the first truth. It is the truth in the world. You see, in the whole system of the world, system of the universe, truth is one. Truth should be one. Truth should be common to all beings, not only humans. What is that truth? That is unsatisfactoriness, dukkha, suffering. It is the truth. What is the cause? Cause of dukkha? Craving, desire, urge, thirst is the cause. So what is the cessation? Cessation is the cessation of craving. That is the attainment of enlightenment. That is what is called liberation, for which the Buddha pointed out a clear-cut path. The path is the Noble Eightfold Path. Noble Eightfold Path. It is the path. It is the way. Now, let's understand the second discourse. So this one is, ignorance is a short discourse. Just to understand what ignorance is. Ignorance means not knowing the Four Noble Truths. Of the Four Noble Truths, the first one is not knowing the five aggregates. That is the meaning here. Now let's come to the second discourse, which is a lump of cow-dung. cow-dung. The Buddha was always in the nature. Always he was sitting with the monks outside of the buildings. He was sitting outer space. Then in India, it is a common thing, cow-dung, dried cow-dung around when you sit on the floor. Buddha never sat on chairs. Buddha sat on floor together with monks, groups, in a circular manner. Buddha sat together with the monks. Then he gave his talks. While he was talking, he used the very powerful communicate technique of similes, parables, using different similes in the nature. So he got little bit cow-dung on his thumbnail, and showing that Buddha explained certain things according to this discourse. Let's see. This discourse itself was delivered while living at Savatthi, the Jethas Grove, Anathapindika's Park, that particular monastery. Then a certain bhikkhu approached the Blessed One, the Buddha, and venerated the Buddha. Having venerated, he sat aside. Sitting to one side, he said to the Buddha, "Venerable Sir, is there any form?" These are the things to be understood. These are the things to be understood. Form. Is there any form that is permanent, stable, eternal, not subject to change, and that will remain the same just like eternity? Eternity itself. That was the question. Is there any sort of form, a permanent form, stable, eternal, not subject to change, and will remain the same just like eternity? That was the question. Not only form. Then he asked, is there, Venerable Sir, any feeling that is permanent, stable, eternal, not subject to change, and that will remain the same just like eternity itself? Then is there, Venerable Sir, any perception that is permanent, stable, eternal, not subject to change, and that will remain the same just like eternity itself? Is there, Venerable Sir, any volitional formations that's permanent, stable, eternal, not subject to change, and that will remain the same just like eternity itself? Is there, Venerable Sir, any consciousness that is permanent, stable, eternal, not subject to change, and that will remain the same just like eternity itself? So what are those? 5 aggregates. 5 aggregates, please keep it in your mind clearly that 5 aggregates are arising and passing in the 6 sense bases. Some of our friends believe that 5 aggregates means this body. Therefore, sometimes they say that whenever we depart, whenever we leave behind, whenever we depart this life, we leave behind this body. As such, they say that they leave behind these 5 aggregates. No, that's wrong. That's wrong. It's a wrong concept. Okay, then let's understand the Buddha's answer. The Buddha said, Bhikkhu, there is no form. You see, the Buddha's clear answer. There is no form that is permanent, stable, eternal, not subject to change, and that will remain the same just like eternity itself. Then there is no feeling, no such feeling. There is no perception, no such perception. There is no volitional formations, no such volitional formations. No consciousness. That is permanent, stable, eternal, not subject to change, and that will remain the same just like eternity itself. No such things. No permanent entity. No permanent entity. No substance in the whole system of the world. Whole system of the universe. No, nothing. Nothing permanent. Nothing stable. Nothing eternal. Then Buddha took up a little lump of cow-dung in his hand. Not his hand, actually, this translation is incorrect. He got little bit cow-dung on his thumbnail, showing this like this, showing like this. The cow-dung, little bit cow-dung on his thumbnail, showing that Buddha says, Bhikkhu, there is not even this much individual existence that is permanent, stable, eternal, not subject to change, and that will remain the same just like eternity itself. Not even this much, this little bit. If there was this much individual existence that was permanent, stable, eternal, not subject to change, this living of the holy life for the complete destruction of suffering could not be discerned. That is the Buddha's answer. If there was this much individual existence that was permanent, stable, eternal, not subject to change, this living of the holy life for the complete destruction of suffering could not be discerned. But, Buddha says, but bhikkhus, there is not even this much individual existence, this much, showing that cow-dung, little cow-dung on his thumbnail. This much individual existence that is permanent, stable, eternal, not subject to change. This living of the holy life for the complete destruction of suffering is discerned. Now, referring to his previous lives, Buddha explains now. In the past, bhikkhus, I was a head anointed Kshatriya king. Kshatriya is a clan, Kshatriya clan. I had, in the past, in his previous lives, I had 84,000 cities, the chief of which was the capital Kusavati. I had 48,000 palaces, the chief of which was the palace named Dhamma. I had 84,000 halls with peaked roofs, the chief of which was the hall named the Great Array. I had 48,000 conches made of ivory, of heartwood, of gold and silver, decked with long-haired coverlet, embroidered with flowers, with choice spreads made of antelope hides, with red avens overhead and red cushions at both ends. I had 84,000 bull elephants with golden ornaments and golden banners covered with nets of golden thread, the chief of which was the royal bull elephant named Uposatha. I had 48,000 steeds with golden ornaments and golden banners covered with nets of golden thread, the chief of which was the royal steed named Valahaka. I had 84,000 chariots with golden ornaments and golden banners covered with nets of golden thread, the chief of which was the chariot named Vajayanta. So these are the things he had in his previous lives, just like the rich persons. Even today, like rich persons, those who have different types of wealth, these are what he had in his previous lives as the monarch, universal king. That is what he is explaining. I had 84,000 jewels, the chief of which was the jewel gem. I had 84,000 women, the chief of whom was Queen Subhadra. I had 84,000 vassals of the Kshatriya caste, the chief of whom was the commander gem. I had 84,000 cows with tethers of fine jute and milk pails of bronze. I had 84,000 coins of garments made of fine linen, of fine silk, of fine wool, of fine cotton. I had 84,000 plates on which my meals were served both in the morning and in the evening. Of those 84,000 cities, now he is explaining what happened to these things. Of those 84,000 cities, bhikkhus, there was only one city in which I resided at that time. You see, however much you have, you can use only one. We also have very many things, but most things we can use only one. The capital Kusavati, he lived only that city. He had many cities, though he lived in only one city, which was Kusavati. Of those 84,000 palaces, there was only one palace in which I resided at that time, the palace named Dhamma. Of those 84,000 halls with peaked roof, there was only one hall with peaked roof in which I resided at that time, the hall named the Great Array. Of those 84,000 conches, there was only one conch that I used at that time. You can refer to yourself also. Think of what you have. You have a lot of things, but you can use only one at a time. One made either of ivory or heartwood, or of gold or of silver. Only one conch you can blow only one conch at a time. Of those 84,000 elephants, there was only one elephant that I rode at that time. So he had 84,000 elephants. However much. The royal bull elephant named Uposatha, he used only that elephant to ride. Of those 84,000 steed, there was only one steed that I rode at that time, the royal steed named Valahaka. Of those 84,000 chariots, like 84,000 chariots, just like, imagine like cars, different kinds of cars, comfortable, expensive cars. People have sometimes many cars, but you can use only one car. Of those 84,000 chariots, there was only one chariot that I rode in that time, the chariot named Vejayanta. Of those 84,000 women, there was only one woman who waited on me at that time, either a Khatya maiden or a Velamika maiden. Of those 84,000 coins of garments, there was only one pair of garments that I wore at that time, one made either of fine linen or of fine silk or of fine wool or of fine cotton. Of those 84,000 plates, there was only one plate from which I ate at most a measure of rice with a suitable curry. So we also have a lot of plates at home, but we can use only one plate. We have lots of cups, glasses. We can use only one glass at a time. Thus, bhikkhus. This is the point. Thus, bhikkhus. All those formations have passed. All those formations have passed, ceased, changed. so impermanent. So impermanent are formations, bhikkhu. So unstable, things are unstable, nothing stable. Things are unstable, unreliable. Things are unreliable. It is enough. Therefore, Buddha says, it is enough, bhikkhu, to feel revulsion. It is enough to understand. In this manner, the Buddha's point is this. In this manner, having contemplated upon this, we have to have repulsion. Repulsion means disenchantment. Disenchantment towards all formations, whatever the formations, all created things. That is why the Buddha said all created things are impermanent. All conditioned things are impermanent. When one sees this with wisdom, we need wisdom to see them as they are. When one sees this with wisdom, one turns away from suffering. In order to turn away, one have to have revulsion, disenchantment. It's enough to become dispassionate instead passionate. One has to have dispassionate towards them. It's enough to be liberated from them. So, Buddha said, all volitional formations are impermanent. When one sees this with wisdom, one turns away from suffering. This is the way to purity. So friends, volitional formations are to be understood. There are two categories of volitional formations. It is because of ignorance volitional formations arise. Not knowing. Because of not knowing, volitional formations arise. What are the volitional formations? There are, as I said, there are two categories. First category, there are three types of volitional formations. What are the three? Bodily formations, verbal formations, and mental formations. Bodily formations means in-breath and out-breath. Breath. Bodily formations means breath. Verbal formations means thinking and examining, vitakka vichar. Then mental formations means feeling and perception. Feeling and perception. So that's the first category, in which Buddha pointed out bodily formations, verbal formation, and mental formations. Under the Bodhi tree, it is said the Buddha cut off all volitional formations. That means not this category. Buddha did not stop, did not cut off, did not cease bodily formations, verbal formations, and mental formations. Now, let's come to the second category, where again we find three types of volitional formations. What are the three? Wholesome volitional formations, unwholesome volitional formations, and jhanic volitional formations. In Pali, I'll give the Pali terms as well for better understanding. Wholesome volitional formations are called punyabhisankhara. Unwholesome volitional formations are apunyabhisankhara. Then jhanic volitional formations are anenjabhisankhara. This is the important place. This is what is called this category. These are the volitional formations that the Buddha completely cut off, completely exterminated, obliterated. Whatever you call wholesome, meritorious deeds, whatever the meritorious deeds done, whatever the demeritorious deeds done, or whatever the jhanic results, whether they are material jhana or immaterial jhana, all these are to be cut off. All these are to be removed. Only then you can cleanse your mind and come to the state of highest bliss, Nibbana. That mind is what you call featureless mind, featureless consciousness. It is because of the stilling of all formations. As the result of stilling of all formations, relinquishing of all attachments, destruction of craving, dispassion, and cessation. That is what is called Nibbanic bliss. Friends, as the followers of the Buddha, we all want to understand this wonderful teaching. Therefore, let's all study, investigate, and practice this Dhamma in our daily life, so that we can realize this real peace, real happiness of Nibbana. May we all realize real peace, real happiness of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.